In the West, in the US, you buy a phone for a contract, a 2-year contract. It's already set up with the GPRS settings and the, there's the App Store, games, all those icons are already working, whereas we don't have that in India, which has been one of the biggest impediments for. But there's also the issue of people don't know how to play, and they may try something that's too difficult. What's been your experience last year or so? And you also have a very interesting similar model as Games on Demand, and how have you seen that play out for you?
Sure. So, is it working? Yeah. So, in the last 5 years that we have been active in the mobile game space in India, I would say the first 4 years of the last 5 years have, there's been a lot of hype about mobile gaming, and there have been 200, 300, 400, now 700 million cell phone users. But it never actually translated into actual business, or people actually downloading games and playing them to the extent that they should. As Rajesh mentioned a few key reasons for this. One was accessibility. Customers did not have the correct settings on their phone to access data. The data plans had to be manually activated by calling the call center of the carrier. It was expensive, and the network itself didn't used to work. So even once you activated the data plan, half the time it's working, half the time it's not working. So the user experience was very bad. Besides this, the carriers who really have the Vodafones and Airtels of the world, who really have the marketing power, had never really gone ahead and pushed such content. In fact, they even today have not. You really might have not seen a television ad yet, promoting mobile games by, let's say, Vodafone or Airtel very aggressively. So there's been a lack of awareness, but a lot of these things in the last 1 year have started changing. So what the carriers have started doing is, today when you insert a SIM into a phone, automatically within a few minutes you get an SMS saying these are your GPRS settings, or these are settings to access Vodafone Live or Airtel Live, and customer just has to save that to activate the phone. What this has resulted is in the last 1 year a huge explosion in mobile data and mobile internet usage. I was reading some numbers which said that in the last 1 year it's grown by almost 600%, and today every month from the mobile phone 3.6 billion page views are being generated just in India. Now that's with 3G coming, that's going to grow even faster. That's what we're all hoping for. But that's what we've seen in the last 1 year. And in the last 1 year, we've also seen the gaming business grow on mobile phones. Not, I would say, not to the tune of 600%, but it has definitely moved from the stagnation that it was for the previous 4 years. Another hindrance on mobile gaming in India was customers were asked to pay, let's say, 99 rupees for a game without even trying out the game. And more often than not, customer used to download the game, pay 99 rupees, and not really enjoy the game. It's not a good quality game, and all those issues. Now think about who this customer is. It's mostly the college student with limited pocket money. So once he spends 300-400 rupees, not enjoy the experience, he used to say, forget it, I'm not going to spend money in wasting on these mobile games. This is where our model which we introduced about a year and a half ago, and which is very similar to the model Vishal just explained on the PC. What we call as Games Club on mobile is exactly the same model, where they are charging 200 rupees for a broadband experience on the PC. We charge 99 rupees, where earlier customers had to pay 99 rupees to play one game. Now you can pay 99 rupees and play a catalog of over 300 games on your mobile phone. And we've partnered with all the best game providers in the world. So that includes companies like Electronic Arts, which has games like Need for Speed, or right now they're releasing Harry Potter with the latest Harry Potter movie release, or you have Gameloft, you have India Games, for example. So you have a lot of premium content. Customers are getting value for money, they're getting to play a lot of games on their mobile phone for this small amount of money, and that's why in the last 1.5 years, we've racked up approximately 600,000 users that are paying for this.
Wow, that's an impressive number.
And there is repeat users, so it's not that the customers are paying for 1 month and then going away, but they continue paying and they continue playing also. So I think just with this new service or this new concept, the mobile gaming business has grown significantly in the last 1 year. And hopefully with 3G coming, I think it will scale a lot faster.
So 600,000 out of 650 million.
It sounds small when you look at 650 million, but you know that 650 million, a lot of the users still have very legacy handsets. You know,
What's your take?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of reason for optimism which you're not sharing, because a lot of people start off with those 1,000 rupee phones, 2,000 rupee phones, but then eventually in a year or so they want to move up. So there is that handset churn which should help your business
Absolutely,
a lot.
and if you look at all the new handset manufacturers in the market, you know, the Micromaxes of the world, they're introducing smartphones, fantastic phones. I just saw an Android phone that they're releasing for small amounts of money. I mean, 4,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees for a fully featured smartphone. I think that's going to be a big driver going forward.
Do you see a place for the app stores? The way it's like a major wave right now, you know, globally. How do you see that playing out in India?
I mean, honestly, from a consumer point of view, he has to, you know, find the game, whether it's from an app store or it's from a carrier deck or from other source. It's really irrelevant from a consumer point of view. I think it's more of, operators or carriers right now trying to emulate what an iPhone or an Apple has done. But that's a different game. But I think at least the hype and the push on that will continue to promote. So if you're seeing Aircel, for example, just launched their app store called Pocket App. So they're spending a huge amount of money on television, promoting that, you know, you can access these kind of applications on your phone. So all that kind of awareness will always help.
Okay, so I have a question on the access of games. Right now it's predominantly through the operator, and the payments for your games, whether it is on the deck of the operator or off the deck, the payments are all through the telephone prepaid or the postpaid bills. Do you see that moving to plastic at all? And do you think that there is do you ever see that movement happening where people will start using the plastic and paying you directly, so that you don't have to share 70%, 80% of your revenue with the operator?
I wish I could say yes, but I don't think in the near future.
Okay.
I think especially on the mobile phone, a lot of this consumption is very impulsive, and you know, for people to really use credit cards on the mobile phone. Or
so if mobile banking, RBI frees that up, you would
hopefully, but I think it will take some time to evolve and develop.
Cool, that's useful perspective. Prakash, as one of the developers who've been active in the recent times, you're also working with Sony. You have a game out there which is doing well. How do you see the developer perspective in terms of making games for India? And as a corollary, I'd like to see how do you see development opportunities per se for Indian companies at this point in time?
Thank you, Rajesh. Just to brief background, we have really not focused our energies on the Indian market. We started the company in 2007 as a services company, offering services to various publishers globally. And within about a year's time, we morphed up the value chain and became a full-size game development studio who's also publishing games ourselves. And I think to a large extent, we must thank Atin and his team for giving us that push and that encouragement to follow that path of publishing games on our own. As of today, we have published one title for the Indian market on the PS2 and the PSP. We have another title coming out within the next 4 to 6 weeks for the global market on the PS2 and the PSP. Plus we have done right now on last count about 14 titles for the PSP Go on the global market. And I think Sony pushed us there to get into that market. And what we saw was there's a huge opportunity and a huge hunger globally from IP owners, from publishers, wanting to work with studios in India to develop games for them, because they see two key drivers which are happening. One, of course, is the cost advantage of working with a studio in India, which enables them to de-risk their business model. And the second thing, which I think is heartening, is everyone sees that the markets in India, China, Korea, this part of the world are going to explode when it comes to smartphones. To give you a simple example, it's a very interesting anecdote. We were doing games with the iPhone, and we suddenly realized that we could not create games sitting in India which are culturally acceptable to the iPhone players in the US. So we changed our strategy. We started talking to the iPhone developers who have had games which have been huge successes and have been in the top 5 or 10 games within the iPhone ecosystem. And those developers were more than happy to work with us, whereby we took their titles to various other platforms all over the world on joint publishing deals, and which economically I think is a huge advantage for every Indian developer, because let's be honest, the iPhone ecosystem is less than 20% of the global market. And there is 80%, the Android platform, the BADA platform, the Windows 7 platform, the PSP Mini platform, the DSi platform, the WiiWare platform, which no iPhone developer is looking at, and those IPs are proven and successful. And we have done that model now, right now, successfully with 3 major large publishers who have had titles in the top 10. And now we're rolling out those titles published by us across global platforms, across global markets. So I see a huge opportunity for the game developers out of India getting into joint alliances with IP owners or successful publishers in the US or the UK, and cracking open the global market with their products. And we have seen success coming there. And I believe that's once you start doing that, you build a portfolio of games which you can also sell aggressively with Vishal or with Nizara in the Indian market. For example, right now we have a portfolio of 60 games which we have not even launched in the Indian market, which will now come once the Indian market gets ready to explode. And I see that as a huge opportunity for every developer in the Indian market.
So you've done a really smart thing of, most of us who've been in development in India have faced questions of, you Indians get Western sensibility, you guys don't have the background of playing games, so how can you make games? So you turned that disadvantage, by just bypassing that completely and working with these iPhone developers and taking on all the other platforms that they are not making games for. So that's a pretty interesting. So do you see that going forward as being one of the major lines of business for your company?
It actually is a very big line of business for our company, and currently we have, I was just telling you, we have 150 titles under development right now.
Wow, 150 titles.
And 150 titles under development across 8 different platforms, across 16 different languages. People don't realize that. When an iPhone developer launches Angry Birds, for example, he launched Angry Birds in the US at $12 million.